Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks reaction. Look, this Cardinals Seahawks game gave me about what I was expecting to see. And I will give a little bit of a nod to the Seattle Seahawks defense. They've been much maligned throughout the year. I've been very critical, and I think deservedly so. The Seattle Seahawks defense was not putting it together. Credit them first and foremost for putting together their best game of the season, giving up 21 points to one of the best, if not the best, offenses in the league. Kyler Murray goes 29 of 42, 269 yards, 2 touchdowns. More importantly, on the ground, he only gives you 5 carries for 15 yards. His difference-making ability on the ground, Seattle was able to neutralize that. Seattle is always better against the run than they are in the pass, but keeping Kyler Murray kind of in the pocket, keeping his run ability outside of the outcome of this game, I think was the difference in this game. 7-3 Seattle jumps to taking control back in this division. More importantly, in this head-to-head matchup, when this NFC West is so close, they pull themselves back to equal with the Arizona Cardinals, equalizing that game. Now, Arizona Cardinals, they go 6-4 at this point. I have the Arizona Cardinals schedule up. Next week, they play the Patriots. Then they play the Rams. Then the Giants and Eagles, NFC East. And although the NFC East is, face it, pathetic, unfortunately, the Giants are playing better than they were when they were super pathetic earlier in this year. Now they're just bad. And the Eagles will probably be playing better as they end the season as well. So while those are definitely winnable games, they should win those games. They aren't the gimmies they were earlier this season. Then they have the 49ers, who should probably still be playing with Nick Mullins and backup players and all that stuff, but the 49ers will play the Arizona Cardinals tough, but I would give the nod to the Cardinals. And then they have the Rams again. So let's say the Rams split. Let's say they go 1-1 in those games, and I think that's fair in this division. Let's say they get the 2 wins in the NFC East. I don't think they're slam dunks, but they should be layups. Then you're at 3-1, and then let's say you split between the Patriots and the 49ers, and you go 4-2 to end the season. That makes them 10-6. That should get them in the playoffs. I do think that the third place team, the NFC West, will be 10-6. I do think that the NFC West will continue to beat each other up. They could very easily go 11-5 or even better. So the Arizona Cardinals, I think, are safe, and the Seattle Seahawks at this point are certainly safe to get in there. Finishing up on the Arizona Cardinals stats here, Kenyan Drake, 11 carries, 29 yards, ouch, and a touchdown. Chase Edmonds, 2 carries for 13 yards. Again, Seattle's going to play the run a little bit tougher than they're going to play the pass game. And Chase Edmonds adds 4 receptions, 36 yards, and a touchdown, so that helps the running back numbers. But you look at the receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, 8 targets, only 5 catches and 51 yards. You expect him to be a little bit more Superman-ish, but again, the Seattle Seahawks step up, give credit where credit is due. Larry Fitzgerald, 8 receptions, 62 yards on 10 targets. Him doing his thing. And Christian Kirk, who had a couple of touchdowns against the Seahawks last time, only had 4 catches and 50 yards. Now, meanwhile, the Seattle Seahawks, hey, credit to Arizona Cardinals. By the way, before I shift this over entirely to the Seahawks, I have not seen a team in my decades of watching football get set for a play as quickly as the Arizona Cardinals. And they were in control in that last drive. If I could offer one criticism, and we're really splitting hairs here. I think both teams are excellent. I would say that they were kind of moving the ball, getting 5 to 10 yards per play. They had plenty of time left. They had a couple timeouts in the bank, and then you start seeing Kyler Murray take shots to the end zone. I'm not going to bang him too much on that one where he had, I think, Reed in his face and he threw the ball over the top to Isabella in the corner of the end zone. That ball could have been caught. Then you see Larry Fitzgerald. If you're an Arizona Cardinals fan, you think that's pass interference. Respectfully, I disagree. You're allowed to, as a defensive player, trying to make a play on the ball. That's what I believe it was Diggs there. That's what he was doing. I would not have called that. Now, if you're an Arizona Cardinals fan and you're wondering why Russell Wilson wasn't flagged for delay of game 2 times, I think you have a bone to pick because that play clock was at 0, Seahawks fans. Let's be honest about that. Yeah, Cardinals fans, as always, comment below. Tell me what you saw. How do you think, the Cardinals could have won this game? It was a clean stat sheet. Didn't see turnovers. You just got to give credit where credit is due here. It's a division matchup. Seattle was, in my opinion, in control for much of that game, the one that they lost in overtime to the Arizona Cardinals a couple weeks ago. To their credit this time, they stayed in front in this game. Although, like I said, if they just kept taking those 5 or 10 yard plays, which were available for them, they would have been maybe at the 20 or 15 15-yard line, and they would have taken more reasonable shots towards the end zone. But hey, the game's in the books. I still think the Cardinals are in nice position. Now, Russell Wilson, still my MVP pick of the year with respect to Kyler Murray. We'll see how Kyler and Russell Wilson finish out the year here. But Russell Wilson goes 23 of 28, 197, not a crazy amount of yards, 2 touchdowns. That gets it done, right? Russell Wilson, 10 carries, 42 yards, no touchdowns. I think the big key here, and I've been talking for the last 2 or 3 weeks, the Seattle Seahawks coming off 2 straight losses, and what was that? They started 5-0, so really they're 2-3 out of the last 5. That's lackluster, and it's because of the defense. But I also think it's because Chris Carson has been out. They've been losing and missing that tough running style. Well, Carlos Hyde comes back and gives them that component back. Bo Scarborough actually played okay before. Oh my gosh, that split! Oh, that did not look good. And oh my gosh, that's not what you want to see. Ugh. But I'm sure he'll be okay. It seemed probably like a muscle. Gosh, hope it's not a tear, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, Chris Carson, he's been questionable for the last couple of weeks. He'll be back soon. But Carlos Hyde coming back, bringing a real presence to this running game, gives you 14 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Seattle gets back to that kind of smash mouth and then over the top game, which they want to do. They controlled the clock. I believe they had about 35 minutes of ball control in this game. That's a plus 10, I believe, in terms of minutes. That's good. That helps keeps your defense fresh. I know Arizona, they ran a lot of plays and they run them quickly, but Seattle, that's the type of ball they want to play. They want to be able to play keep away a little bit and then have Russell Wilson dissect you. In terms of receivers, Tyler Lockett, 9 targets, 9 receptions, 67 yards, and a touchdown. Only 67 yards on 9 targets. I mean, they didn't really let Lockett get behind him too much, but he did end up with a touchdown. DK Metcalf also gets into the end zone. Only 5 targets. He needs to get more targets than that. Credit the defense, right? Credit the defense for the lack of targets. That's a couple weeks in a row. I want to see DK Metcalf in every situation getting 10 targets. He's got to be getting double-digit targets every single game. Seahawks fans, comment below if you agree. 3 receptions, 46 yards, and a touchdown. Olsen, DJ Dallas, Carlos Hyde, Jacob Hollister all give you 2 receptions. Will Dissly, David Moore gives you 2 receptions as well. Will Dissly gives you an additional catch. Russell Wilson spreading that ball around on that last drive. Blitz coming up the middle. Kind of moves up in the pocket, waits for his tight end to get open. I can't remember if it was Dissly or if it was Hollister, but Russell Wilson, he's a magician back there. Kyler Murray is fantastic too. That's why I enjoyed watching this game. That's why I enjoyed watching these 2 teams. Great game. Seattle, I guess I think they lost by 3 in overtime. They win by 7 here, so they win the season matchup by 4. Each team takes care of business at home on their home turf. I do think both teams will be in the playoffs. I'm a little bit more concerned for Arizona. They got to come back after a tough loss here. And the Patriots are playing better. They're starting to play more physical football. Again, I think the Cardinals should win that game. But it's the Patriots. They'll have a good game plan for Kyler Murray. We'll see what happens. I tend to think that Kyler Murray should be able to get it done, and they are on the road in Foxborough, and then they're back home against the Rams, who have a really good defense too. So we don't want to see things go off the rails for the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle back in control. I like what they're doing. I called them to be the Super Bowl representatives for the NFC this season. Before the season, their defense is still giving me a little bit of concern, but I have not backed off of that yet. Russell Wilson, I've been talking about him being the MVP of the season since before the season. I'm not backing it off yet. Seattle is still trying to prove me right here. That defense, if they can play as well as they played today for the rest of the season, I think that pick is still looking pretty good. Anyway, there's my reaction. Cardinals fans, Seahawks fans, comment below. Tell me how you feel about the game. What did each team need to do to get better and to make that Super Bowl run? I want to hear from you. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back with more reaction videos on Sunday.